I'm Eric Vaughan. I'm the CEO of IgniteTech and GFI Software. We're the diamond sponsors here at the GenAI Expo. And we are because we think GenAI is one of the most important things that's ever happened in our lifetimes.
I've been in this industry over 30 years, and everything changed almost instantaneously. I 100% believe if we don't think this is urgent, that we're going to be left behind. We're going to be out of our jobs. Somebody else is going to be doing what we do. Our products will fall to competitors. This is the iPhone moment for AI. iPhone changed everything, took smartphones and turned them into a computer in the pocket, and suddenly everybody had to have it. There's a lot of this going on. Like if I just stuck my head in that stand, that whole GenAI thing's going to go away. Like when I come back, like, yeah, are we on to something else? The answer is no. This genie is not only out of the bottle's gone. It's a culture shift. I'm here to give you 5 quarters worth of experience doing this with my team. It is a culture shift in a dramatic way for a lot of different reasons. Number one, you start by telling everybody how important it is, and this is exactly what I did in early of 2023 when we understood how important this was. We interrupted an all-hands meeting that quarter and said, we're not going to have the normal all-hands meeting we talk about, quarterly goals, what does it look like for this year, where are we in our progress. Instead, we're going to talk about a completely new idea, and that is this concept of a gift to you, our people. The gift was to invest in them. We funded everybody with up to $1,200 of education reimbursement on anything related to AI, didn't even need to get pre-approval. Enabled them to license any tool, the pro version of every tool. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. This isn't an age comment at all. This is, I'm set in my ways. I've been writing copy for years. I've been doing code for years. I've been doing P&Ls and budgets for years. But so what? Like we've just now given you, a brand new platform that doesn't make any sense. The big difference between the people that resisted the change and the people that will resist the change is that they don't believe it. And they'll tell you that. They'll say it in meetings. The AI can't do that. Belief is the key. And you'll find it. You'll hear people on the meeting saying, that AI hasn't been inside that code for the last 15 years. Like, yeah, I know. That's okay. It may be a good thing, Last year, our EBITDA was 75%. 75% EBITDA, top revenue per employee. And we did all of this while we completely transformed the company. The KPIs that you've used in the past for that, we spent this much, did we save that much, is not going to be the way you're going to think about it. You now need to say, what's possible for us to do that was never possible before? This is the way we can rebuild our companies. This is the way we can fundamentally change things. And I think that's really important. I'm spending a lot of my time outside of IgniteTech going to a variety of conferences. How are you going to compete? Because that's who you're lining up against, right? That's at least your competitor who's bringing AI along with it. How are you going to compete? And 100%, your business is going to be changed. Maybe not this month, maybe not this year, but very soon. It's not about just finding efficiencies. The word is innovate. It's like I said, it's not about trying to just create efficiencies and do things quicker and faster and maybe multiply, your capabilities. It's about creating time and space for your best people to do incredible work. I hope you heard a call to action today. I don't think it's a shiny toy. I do think it's a fundamental change that everybody's got to get after. I think it's pivotal that we drive culture change. That's been the operative word of the day, and I hope you do it.
Good morning. I'm Eric Vaughan, and that was 4 minutes of video, and thanks very much. I hope you have a great day. It is ImagineAI Live. It can't be ImagineAI video, so don't worry. We've still got more to talk about. I thought it might be a good idea to kind of level set, because over the last 14 years, that's what Steve said this morning, right? Seems like it's been 14 years, 14 months. Just 14 months ago, I was standing on this stage at the inaugural ImagineAI Live, described at the time as the Woodstock of AI. Now, I just love that description, isn't it, right? It's kind of a potpourri of people from all over the world coming into, we didn't even have the word vibe 14 months ago, and that really fits with Woodstock. I heard Steve say last night that this is like Tony Robbins meets AI, and it is like that. And after the last 2 years, 2 years seems like forever now, of traveling around the world and meeting with so many people at different AI conferences, this one stands alone. It not only in its quality, its obvious quality and the effort that went into it, that Steve and the team have put into it, but also in terms of the type of people that we're bringing to the conference, right? Because we've got technologists, we've got business people, we have people that are absolutely focused on trying to get in the game and stay in the game, which is super appropriate. And so that makes this very unique. So that was messages that I've been delivering over the last 14 months, talking about how I have taken my company, IgniteTech, through a extreme, some people have called it, transition into the AI world. And it was extreme. And I did it with open heart and desire to bring everyone along with us, everybody. And I mentioned that, you saw that in the video. This was a gift to my team. It was an investment, it was time. We declared for a full quarter, Mondays, the only thing you could do is work on AI. And spent so much time bringing people forward. But just a level set, we're here for a different reason. And my talk keeps morphing, as everything in AI keeps morphing, right? And now my talk is more about humans than AI. And I hope that's refreshing, because I'm seeing a real trend happen where people are afraid, they don't trust, they don't believe, they disparage, they doubt, they inject fear, and that's coming from all levels. Anybody using these tools to general counsel at companies. And so I want to talk about the transformation and how humans fit in. So IgniteTech's my company. I mentioned this in that talk. 30 years, we've been a profitable enterprise software company. So our frame of reference is completely different than most AI startups. 30 years of working with enterprise customers all over the world, very recognized names and brands, over 40 products in our portfolio, and we grow through acquisition. In fact, we just closed on a very large acquisition last week that literally doubled the revenue size of our company. And I'm going to talk about that because it plays in. Well, all we say is we're 9 digits, we're privately held, we don't disclose our numbers, but we're 9 digits of revenue. That means we're somewhere between 100 million and $1 billion, okay? And this is what had to happen, though. We had to launch an AI startup within this enterprise software company. There's a lot of AI startups out there. We're all familiar with them. And you can tell they're AI startups because perhaps at the core, they're providing something really useful that we're all using, like OpenAI or Anthropic. But then you look at these user interfaces and you're like, what do you mean I can't delete a chat? I can only archive it. What kind of UI is that? It's like, you can tell. They're going to get around to that later. That's okay, right? We're approaching this different as an enterprise software company because our customers depend on that. And we have these metrics that don't usually fit an AI startup. Pull the AI startups out there. Revenue per employee, for the most part, looks like that for everybody. That's IgniteTech. We're way ahead of these names that you would recognize: OpenAI, Oracle, Microsoft. Revenue per employee. And EBITDA. This is important to note. We have achieved unparalleled bottom line profits in the company. That is a reflection of freeing our people to work on their best stuff. And that is, in my mind, the whole goal of AI, is to take humans and make them better. Like every other technology. It's quite frankly all technology is supposed to be here for. All of us techies, I'm definitely a techie. I'm always the guy with beta everything. I'm going to do a demo in a little bit on an operating system that's developer beta. Hope that works. We'll see what happens. I love all that stuff, but I love it because of what it can do for people. I love it that it changes lives. My home is completely automated. You walk in my home, you can look at any security camera, you can change the temperature, you can make music run, you can lock the front door, you can turn my wife's curlers off. Honestly, that's absolutely true. Because that was helpful, right? She sometimes forgot to turn them off, and so it monitors it and turns them off automatically. So it does things for people. Right, so what is that? EBITDA, 75%. That's what we were able to hit this last year. And we did that at the backdrop of replacing 80% of our entire team. Not the goal. Spent a year investing in people, taking them through training, offering them tools. I hear so many people say, yeah, we're not allowed to bring that tool in, or we're very limited in spend. We had unlimited spend, realistically, like every pro version of every tool. But we did all of this, we accomplished all of that with a turnover of 80% of our team. And part of that was because of the main core focus here. It's a culture shift. It is 100% a culture shift. It's a mindset shift. And again, I said in the video, the technical people were the hardest ones to adapt. It was such a surprise. I would not have thought that at all. If like there was a betting pool, my money would have been on, I don't know, marketing, sales, or like, what do I need AI for? Oh my God, they ate it up. It was like tools. Oh my God, I can do things without asking people. Does that sound familiar? That's called democracy, right? That's called making things available to everybody without having to ask IT. That's what we've always had. They broke free. So that's important. Leadership is super important. I talk about this a lot. This must be at the CEO level. The last thing I said on that video was, it's not a shiny new toy. Let me give you the context for that. That was the CEO Summit conference that I spoke at in April in Atlanta. It was at the Delta Museum. If you've ever been there, it's really quite impressive. There was a 767 to my right of that stage that I was on. It was really, really amazing. And the opening speaker that day was Ed Bastian, the CEO of Delta Airlines. And he and I had a conversation, actually, it was a Q&A in front of the group when he was on stage, and he called it a shiny new toy. He called AI a shiny new toy. I said, I have to respectfully disagree with my colleague, Ed Bastian. I understand why he says that, because we, tech community, have been doing this forever, telling everybody this is the most important thing you'll ever do. Crypto. It doesn't matter. You could replace it. We've been telling people forever that this is going to change everything. So they doubt it. They've heard this all before. But it's not a shiny new toy. And it is where we need to pay attention. And it is where we need to turn all of our resources to, or get left behind. And so this is what my company journey looked like. When I stood on this stage 14 months ago, I talked about how the transformation was underway, and some early results were showing difficulty in adaptation. But I mentioned it again in the video. The difficulty in adaptation comes from that one word. I pulled it right out of Ted Lasso. It's belief. It's belief. They don't believe it. They don't think it's going to work. Guess what? It doesn't. If you don't think it's going to work, if you don't think anything works, you've not given it a real chance. So the people that we've had to hire to bring in to actually drive this completely forward, we went out and we recruited all over the world. We're a global remote company, have people all over the world, don't have any offices, literally, we're all remote, hundreds of people all over the world. We went out and we posted job descriptions that said this: AI innovation specialist marketing, AI innovation specialist sales, AI innovation specialist software engineering. And the first and foremost requirement was you passed multiple interviews and some AI tests to make certain that you had an AI disposition. We weren't looking for experts. If we found those, we did find some, those were great, but we wanted people who believed and had some experience, and they brought some skills with them. We always talked about what tool would you have on your tool belt on day one. And we did this. And so the 80%, to be clear, was not a reduction. That 80% was a replacement. It was a turnover. We had people that were with us for years who just said, I don't believe in this and I don't want to do it. And we're like, I get it. You're going to have to leave. That's the way it had to work, right? Because everybody's got to be in the same boat, rowing the same direction. And that is the CEO's job, to make certain of that, or you're not going to accomplish anything, right? So we also created a completely different org structure. I think this is unique. I had no idea if it was going to work. I think it is working. What we decided to have every single person that we hired in this new AI pipeline, this new AI jobs, report into the AI organization directly. Now, they have a dotted line to their domain owner. So the finance people do have a dotted line to the CFO. The marketing people do have a dotted line to the CMO, but they report directly to the CAIO, the Chief AI Officer in the company, who's here. You should meet him. His name is Thibaut. He has a lot of fun stories to tell. What that meant, though, was that the domain people would explain what needed to be done. We need to go analyze vendor spend for Q3 to see if we can find 20% savings. The AI organization then would help that team decide how they would do it. So what came from the domain, how came from the AI team? Because this AI team is two parts. R&D, like real R&D, like go take a portion of every single day, research what's out there. You hear about a new model that just got released, download it, benchmark it, share the results with the rest of the company so everybody knows, how did Claude 4 do when it came out compared to 3.7? Was that a step forward in coding and even content creation, or was it a step back? And what were the findings? We've got a lot of that. And then put your production hat on, because we are a software company with hundreds of customers that we have to take care of, and produce. And so they have created almost a library of components and techniques and tools that they say, no, we've already done that, right? So RAG was one of the first ones, right? This retrieval augmented generation, this idea of pulling data, right? RAG's a terrible term. No one should ever use it. It sounds awful. You're trying to explain it to a customer. Yeah, we're going to RAG your data. It's like, what? I don't know what that means, right? Here's what we call it: knowledge. We just say it's knowledge, right? It's the knowledge in front of the LLM that it pulls from as preferential, in its findings. But we developed what we called a SOTA, state-of-the-art RAG system, because there were so many discussions of the right way to do RAG. And so now we just give that to somebody, say, hey, go plug into iRAG, IgniteTech's RAG, and use it like that. So that organization is completely different, because, there's a lot of these people out here. This is Ned. Ned was a high-ranking sales executive. And Ned didn't think, I don't know if he was an old dog, didn't want to learn new tricks, but he didn't think that sales needed AI at all. Wasn't paying attention, apparently, to Salesforce and Einstein and all the other transformations. I don't know, you watch HubSpot, watch the space. HubSpot's doing some really interesting things in AI right now to really push themselves forward. This is the reality. They're going to be displaced for one reason or another, maybe just normal attrition, and they're going to find themselves not competitive as they go out in job interviews, because over and over again, repeatedly, the same question is going to be, what do you know about AI? How do you use it in your job? What tools do you bring? And that's going to be very key also on the other side. As we recruit and as we hire, we're going to get interviewed. So if I join, do I have access to tools, or am I just completely locked down? Do you sponsor efforts for us to experiment and learn? Because, guys, we're at a frontier right now. It's like the gold rush, and nobody knows where this is going to lead. It sure looks interesting, right? We don't know if OpenAI is going to win. They've got a lot of money, a lot of investment, doing a lot of incredible things. A couple of people left and went and founded Anthropic. They've got a little bit of a different ethos. They're out there. They've got Amazon money behind them. I think, all of this is, a fascinating, almost like an AI arms race. And everybody, including the people you hire, have the right to ask you that, and you need to be ready for it. And if you don't, you're going to pass on talent. You're going to start losing talent. You're going to start competing for people, and they're like, yeah, I don't want to go there. That's old thinking. As Zig Ziglar used to say, that's a case of stinking thinking, I don't want to have any part of that. It doesn't make any sense. Here's another trend that I think not only are you going to see, I can tell you it's here. AI headcount. So I mentioned last week, we literally closed on an acquisition of a company called Chorus. Chorus is this incredible platform that provides communities, community for brands, many brands that Customers are General Motors and Microsoft and Meta, literally where people go to interact with each other and ask questions and the like, okay? In our planning leading up to the acquisition of Chorus, we designated AI headcount, people or roles that would be fulfilled by AI. This wasn't in place of somebody, it was in addition to, because we have spent the last 14 months, I'm going to keep trying to say years, Steve put that in my head, it's just terrible, 14 months, we've written 2 brand new patent pending software products from the ground up from the 14-month period I stood on this stage in this very room. And one of them is an email product, a product that creates bespoke auto responses. It's death to the autoresponder. You remember the days when it was an improvement to say, thank you very much for your email. I'm currently on vacation for 2 weeks. If it's urgent, please, like that was an improvement, because it used to be that the email went into the black hole, no one knew. It's not an improvement, now it's an insult to your customers on a late Friday afternoon where they need something. And this product called Eloquence automatically responds in context with bespoke emails in perfect grammar, 24/7, in 160 languages. And so we stood up HR at IgniteTech.com because we knew hundreds of people at Chorus were immediately going to start asking, what about my 401k? And what's the transition look like? And benefits and all the questions that they should be asking. We understood it. And so not to overwhelm our team, we set up HR at IgniteTech.com, who is manned by somebody, and these all look like people. They all have names. This is Helen Roberts, HR. Yeah. We keep being kind of cute with the persona names like that, right? Helen Roberts is answering all these questions, and she's empathetic, and she's compassionate, and her AI-ness knows to escalate to the human in the loop. Hey, that's a question I can't answer. I don't find it in my knowledge. I'm grounded in my knowledge. I want to now bring so-and-so in. I've CC'd him on this email. But the difference is, that team, that small team managing this transition, are not responding to hundreds of emails over the last week that have come in. Instead, only the ones that bubble at the top. Now, that's bringing humans in here. This is empowering humans, and that's the theme of our talk. Human extension and work distribution is the way this is all going to work wonderfully. Benioff said this, the Salesforce founder and CEO. He said, I think I'm the last CEO that you may ever talk to that only managed humans. And of course, that's changing dramatically. And we need to think of it like that. But we need to think of AIs as extensions of us. We need to build software that make them extensions of us. And let me take issue for just a moment with this word, agent. It's the word of 25. I think people actually declared it on Twitter. It's like, this is the year of the agent and agentic, and that's an even worse word because agentic, like no one really knows what that means. It sounds like disembodied software running around there with your credit card making reservations for you. That's what it sounds like. That sounds damn scary. And you know how humans react when they're afraid? They shut down, they distance, they stop, they don't engage. That's not what we want to do. So I don't think we talk about agents either, even if conceptually or technologically it's an agent, okay? Fine. Let's not talk about that. They're extensions, they're assistants. And I want to talk about that. Human AI hybrid teams and having oversight. That's what we should be the final decision. We should have all this stuff bubble up to us, just like we ask our team to bubble up to us. Like, hey, you know, I can't be in the middle of every single deal, but if there's a material deal at this level, come to me and we'll talk about it. AI is perfect at that. Handle all the rote stuff, handle all the routine stuff, and far better than we do, because AI doesn't get tired. When it's 2 in the morning, it still writes a perfect email. It still responds perfect in AI chat, right? It's an extension of us, and that's what people should feel. We got to get used to this vision. This is exactly what's going to happen. That kind of looks like Ned to me. Another version of Ned sitting there, and he's skeptical of that. Don't be skeptical. Get excited. Welcome them into your home. Argue with them. I do all the time. I have these arguments with AI. It's like, why did you do that just now? Well, I thought it was a valid link that I gave you. I said, yeah, but did you not research it and actually follow the link? Oh, yes, you're right. I should do that. Okay, will you stop apologizing to me and then just always do that from now on? Yes, I will. And I still keep that synchronization going with the AI. I feel like it's my buddy. Our PR firm asked me, passed some interview questions from a publication on, and I quickly responded. I now respond within like 15 minutes to our PR firm. This never happened in my life. And the writer or the editor came back and said, yeah, we don't want to use this because we think it's AI generated. And so I said, here's what I want you to say. It is 100% absolutely AI generated, but not like delegated, and I didn't read it. Like I spent 30 minutes in a Claude project that has literally the transcripts of everything I've ever said, every speech, every article I've written in one place. It knows me. It knows how I sound, what I say, what my phrases are, what I believe. And I just go paste the questions in and say, what would I say about this? And then I sit there and argue. There's too much emphasis on that, and that's missing the point. And I do the work with the AI, and I pass that back. That's the way you use it. And I said, tell them I haven't written anything on a blank page in a year and a half, and I never will again. And it is the most freeing thing in the world. I can't tell you. It's just amazing. So we love this in the technology industry in Silicon Valley in particular. We love this word disrupt. It's disruptive. And this is destruction. It's going to destroy businesses in so many different ways because the old SaaS model of doing business, for example, or even the SaaS model of writing software, that is accelerating almost daily with new announcements of things where you can literally just write 2 sentences and say, go write a clone of Slack for me. And you're shocked at how good it actually is. Is it ready for deployment or sale? No. But it's shockingly good. It's really, really good at that, right? So it's going to completely destroy industries, and the people that don't pay attention, if they are gradual in their transformation, this is the biggest risk. The biggest risk is not taking risk. This whole shutdown everywhere of like, oh my God, we have to be, we stand up an ethics committee. I am not saying there should not be ethics in AI. Don't hear that. But there's all these gates that get erected because we don't know. It's what we do with fear. When we don't know and we have fear, we erect gates. And that is a problem. We have to help our companies, our senior leaders, be educated enough to be able to figure out the right balance of risk, right? Because your competitors are, I promise you that. And don't think it's just the technology industry, it's the health industry, it's the finance industry. UBS just announced an AI agent that they're making available to their investors just last week. It is across every single domain in every walk of life, scientific research, people that are learning at a very fast pace are going to be way ahead of you if you don't move and engage, because this is what happens. We just wrap tape around it and say, you can't use it. Now, I will say there was a company that I won't name, very, very well-known, publicly held company. CEO actually stood on the stage with Jensen Huang, the guy with the black jacket. Guy literally always has a black jacket no matter where he goes. It's always, it's Jensen because of the black leather jacket. Stood on the stage with Jensen and made an announcement of their company and NVIDIA. At the same time, I was privy to an internal memo about AI usage that basically said, lock it down. You can't ever put any company data in here. ChatGPT Enterprise, anybody? You can't use this tool unless it's approved. There's a whole process that we have to go through. And I look at that and I just think, they're just doomed. They're in trouble. In fact, I said that at another conference. And I'm sorry, for context. For context here, the man on my right works for Cisco. He was a CISO at Cisco. And he has just given an answer of what I just said, that we're so locked down and it's really crazy, and I know we're Cisco and everything else, and this was my response.
I think companies that are doing exactly what you just described are doomed. When the CISO has to get involved and the chief counsel needs to get involved and write the regulations, they don't have the knowledge, the experience, and the information to make the right decisions, so they're going to constantly err on the side of abject caution. Maybe that's prudent. Maybe they think it is, suggested that a mistake at Cisco is a 7-digit mistake. So what? They're writing an error. They need to make those mistakes, and they need to have the CISO is going to write the rules. That better be an AI-educated, informed practitioner CISO.
And that's the key, right? Your CISO, your chief counsel, your CEO, your COO, if they're delegating this out to some tech committee that's experimenting, you're doomed. I really think so. You got to go back and say, no, boss, I'm sorry. We need to get you. You need to understand the controversy between open source and proprietary models. You need to be asking me if we should bring Claude projects in. Should we be vibe coding? What do you think about Cursor versus Windsurf? Your CEO needs to be asking those questions, needs to be aware of it, because that's what's going to drive it. Because it all does come down to, how are we going to compete? And I think we've heard this morning in some of the early talks. I think Alicia said that, right? It's not, I love her word, quantum, right? I said exponential, it sounds wimpy. Quantum, like it's just quantum change. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And the gap is widening. It's widened since you woke up this morning. I hate to tell you that, but it's true. How many of you checked Twitter or X, sorry, I gotta call it X now, before you got up, or before you got here today, just to see the latest announcements? Okay, good, because something may have changed your world last night. Some competitor may have announced something. Some new tool may have invalidated your process. That's how fast things are moving. And you want to know, how are other CEOs dealing with this? This was a study done by Boston Consulting Group. This just shows the depth of the survey, 1,800 C-level. So these are all C-level stats that I want to share with you, right? That's the point of this. And it's really talking about humans and AI. Number one, they don't really see a decrease in headcount. Can we please put this to bed? The people that will be displaced from their jobs are the ones that refused. The people that wanted to take care of the horse and carriage and refused to embrace the automobile lost their jobs. It's similar. It absolutely is, but that's not what the CEOs see. And in fact, if you look at the top of that bar graph, I think that's really important. 8% said they think they're going to have more full-time employees. Why? Because they're going to become more efficient. What does efficiency do? It doesn't just drive down costs. That's table stakes. What it does is make it so you can invest, you can innovate, you can do some incredible things. And this is also their point of view and how they see AI and humans working together. Again, C-level point of view, not a tech sector point of view, not an AI startup point of view. CEOs all over the world, you saw the graph, right? 22% see AI taking the lead with humans retaining oversight. 64% have this beautiful vision of AI and humans working side by side. That's 86%. That's great. 14%, okay, well, I'll live with that. That's really good in this day and age. I think that's fantastic. And then finally, I want to point out that it's not about, again, efficiencies. It's about inventions. And 14 months ago, I stood on this stage and I announced, my team knows that, we have a conference coming up. Hey, Eric, what are we announcing? Because I know we love these conferences to announce things. We love to demo them. It's always good to give somebody an actual deadline of something, and unmovable dates of a conference do that. This is when we announced something we thought was groundbreaking. It was enabling our humans to clone themselves and make their knowledge available. And at the time, 14 months ago, we called it Jive Personas. This was me on the stage last year. Jive, right here, Personas. Jive Personas. This is Leah, our corporate HR director. She's currently creating her avatar, and she's uploading it to the system. Now, everybody knows Leah. She works for our company. She's not just an avatar, she's Leah. They've talked to her. They've probably worked with her when she was hired. And I'm taking you through the behind the scenes of how this is set up. And this pops up a carousel of all of the different personas that we've created in our company, the people that everybody knows. And we're going to conduct a session with Leah.
Welcome, Eric.
Hello, Leah. What's the PTO leave policy in California?
In the California branch, you are entitled to 2 weeks paid leave per year, besides exceptions. My web search did not find anything that applies to your question. Let me contact the persona owner.
Here's where the magic happens, folks. Meet the actual Leah, enjoying a nice lunch somewhere, and we've just notified her on her phone. Jive Personas tells her, you've got a question. She pulls that up on her phone, reads it.
Tell him that he can exchange up to 16 hours of overtime for 2 extra days paid vacation every quarter.
And goes back to her nice lunch, and this in real time comes back to Jive Persona in the live session and talks to the person to deliver the answer.
You are right. You can transform up to 16 hours of overtime into 2 extra days of paid leave every quarter. I have added this information to my knowledge base for future questions.
Thanks. And that is the way software is supposed to work. Natural interfaces. And oh, by the way, it's multilingual. Leah only speaks English, but we have people all over the world. You can conduct this session in French.
You're welcome. Jive Personas is always here when you need help.
A little latency there, Ed. We got to switch to Grok. Good Lord. Wow, the joke even worked this year. I'll be darned. That's fantastic. Yeah, it kind of interrupted me. That was Jive Personas last year. I made the announcement. The press release went live when I hit the stage. I demoed it, and it didn't exist. That was a vision, 100% a vision. We knew we could do it, but we wanted to bring it to people and get the reaction. And the reaction started with a guy grabbing me out in that very hall and saying, oh my God, I need this now. I need this tomorrow. So tell me what's going on. I said, I've got 10,000 workers. They're kind of entry-level workers. They're constantly filling up our help desk with questions. We can't keep up with it. And I said, well, what do you use? And he said, well, we're trying to do it with SharePoint right now. And I said, well, you'd have to move to our Jive product. He said, yeah, no problem. I'd throw it out. And I was like, 30 years, I've never heard anybody say that. I'll just throw out your competitive product, bring yours in. But so it told us that there was a need. And maybe it wasn't just about Jive. So it's all about humans in the loop. This is our theme, right? And how you monitor AI I thought the CDO at Mattress Firm saw it, again, as opposed to replacement of humans. And there are other stats out there that talk about human in the loop. HITL, it's a real acronym. People talk about it all the time. And so now, this is a forgiving crowd. I know it is. I know it is. I'm going to demo. So My Personas now is very real. The product is called My Personas. And it is out and has been for several months. We have many users. But we are today demoing something for the very first time that brings humans even closer than ever before. So if we switched. Great. All right. So if any of you have visited the ImagineAI website in the last several weeks, you may have noticed this little guy sitting on Steve's website. And that is My Personas. And it says, ask Steve Metcalf anything you'd like. So we're going to have a conversation with Steve right now. Any of you use this? Did any of you use this prior? Okay. Oh, good. Awesome. All right. All right. Can't wait for you to come and tell me how great it was or not at the conference, right? Steve last night at the speaker meeting said, by the way, if you guys are going to do a demo from the stage, the Wi-Fi is terrible.
Any questions about ImagineAI Live?
Hi, Steve. Where is this year's conference going to be held?
This year's ImagineAI Live conference will be held at the Fontainebleau in Las Vegas.
All right. And do you know, will we be able to have vegetarian meals at lunch?
I've reached out to the team to get their assistance for you.
Now, this is human in the loop. It's grounded. This is another tech term, grounded. It doesn't hallucinate. It won't answer if it doesn't know. We've worked so hard on this. You just have no idea. And it doesn't know the answer to that question. So it literally just pinged Steve on the mobile app that is for My Personas and sent him an email. If he happens to be available, he'll answer it. And I can say, yes, I want to be notified when I get the answer, because I'm a web user. I'm anonymous. Nobody knows who I am. You know, the software doesn't know who I am. And yes, I can leave my email, because if I leave this session, I'd like to get that answer back whenever Steve does answer. Now, the beautiful thing is when he does answer, it also updates the knowledge in the My Persona. And the next time somebody wants to know about vegetarian lunches, the My Persona will know. That's the patented technology that we have working in the human in the loop. I'm going to ask another question. Do you have a link to the agenda?
You can view the full agenda for ImagineAI Live 25 at https://ImagineAI Live event ImagineAI Live 25.
Okay, so very helpful. It's all there. Hopefully it helped people get information without pestering Steve. Steve got billions of emails, billions and billions, very Carl Saganish leading up to this thing, right? He was just swamped, but we're trying to take that load off. And C, while I was here, Steve did answer that question. It actually came right in here. Yes, lunch will have vegan, vegetarian, and other options. It updated the chat so the user can actually see that, and then forwarded questions are put over here as well. I'm going to ask it another question. Do you know if French wine will be available for the evening reception? Okay, another one went to the owner. Now, we're announcing something brand new today. The patent was filed last week. I wouldn't be demoing it here if the patent wasn't filed. Now that I've set this up beautifully, let's see if it actually works. Oh, look at this. My human counterpart, Steve Metcalf, would like to join the conversation. You can allow Steve to join by clicking the button below. Should we let him in? What do you think? Wow, that's lukewarm. Don't we love Steve? Yes, let him in. Let's let him in. Let's see what happens. Look at that. Steve!
Somebody.
Oh, we lost your video. Where'd you go, Steve? There he is. I turned it on.
I'm here.
Hey, Steve, how are you? It's Eric Vaughan. I'm at your conference. This is fantastic. What a great first day.
Oh, hey, thanks, Eric.
And
I'm just stepped out of the men's room here. What's going on?
well, I thought you saw that I had called and you thought it was important, so maybe we could have a quick little chat about your fantastic conference here. And by the way, you're not only on with me and all of the attendees, you're on with Steve Metcalf's AI right now.
Well, what do you know? I need all the help I can get, and I always go to AI first.
Well, I think, Steve, aren't you actually here? Could you just come in so everybody could see how this is actually working? I think maybe if you stepped out of the men's room, you're probably near. Steve, do we see Steve anywhere? Steve?
Yeah, I'm just making my way back to the stage.
All right, all right.
Hey, wow.
And there he is. We've got Steve Metcalf right there, folks.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's amazing.
And now we have feedback. And that is humans in the loop. That is how you do it. This is how you bring the humans in. Yes. Thank you. It's fantastic. I believe in it. I believe in us. I always believe in us. We overcome all of these changes. It's not fear, it's knowledge. And we're going to do it together. Thanks very much.